Let the waters roar, Jack. Long we've tossed on the rolling main, now we're safe ashore, Jack. Don't forget your...
Welcome on board the New Forest Tour Blue Route, exploring the southwest of the New Forest National Park, where the forest meets the sea. On this tour, you'll experience spectacular coastal views, majestic woods, and wild heaths. And you'll hear tales of the sea, shipwrecks, smugglers, and much more. You'll also find details of special discounts at attractions, shops, and cafes. The next main stop will be in the village of Burley, but if you'd like to get off along the way, just ring the bell. Please stay sitting down and keep your arms inside the vehicle while we're moving. Get ready to enjoy the New Forest Tour.
The Southend gun, what an division, Sponger I and Loader you, through the whole commission.
Over the course of the year, there are around 5,500 ponies roaming free in the forest. They are joined by approximately the same number of cattle, plus a small number of donkeys and sheep. This ancient way of keeping animals roaming free is called commoning, and is carried out by people called commoners. Ponies have brand marks that show which commoner owns the pony, and their tails are cut in different ways, to show which part of the forest the pony belongs in. Can you spot any brands or tail haircuts en route? The New Forest is one of the most important sites for wetland wildlife in the UK. With over 1,000 ponds, they provide incredible habitats, which are home to some of our most endangered plants and animals. In this area, there are dozens of ponds which rely on clean, unpolluted water and on the gentle disturbance associated with grazing ponies and cattle. Help to keep our waters clean and protect the wetland wildlife that lives here by following the New Forest Water Code. Travelling through an area called Hinchesley. It's named as one of 4 local Saxon manors in the 11th century survey known as the Domesday Book. The famous census was drawn up shortly after the New Forest was named and claimed by William the Conqueror. Before William, the Saxon name for the forest was the mysterious sounding Yittany. This means land of the Jutes, after the settlers from the Jutland Peninsula, which is now in Denmark. Many New Forest place names are of Saxon origin, and the sites of the forest's oldest churches date from these times. One of William the Conqueror's first deeds on becoming King of England was to introduce forest law in the New Forest and his other royal forests. In the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, a manuscript dating from that time, there was no doubt of the harshness of forest law and the penalties for those that broke it.
He made great protection for the game and imposed laws for the same, that whoso slew hart or hind should be made blind. He preserved the harts and boars and loved the stags as much as if he were their father.
During the First World War, pupils of Brockenhurst village school would walk to Hinchesley Bog on Fridays to pick sphagnum moss, which was used to dress wounds in the military hospitals in the village. The moss has more effective absorbent qualities than even cotton wool. rising out of the forest, like something from The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings. The tower is also known as Peterson's Folly, after the eccentric judge who had it built in 1879. It is 66 meters tall and made entirely of concrete, a revolutionary material at the time. Sway Tower remains the tallest structure ever built out of non-reinforced concrete. The village of Burley, our next stop, has a bit of a reputation for witchcraft and magic. In the 1950s, there lived a famous woman known as Sybil the Witch, who used to wander the village with her pet jackdaw on her shoulder. Nowadays, many of the shops have a witchcraft theme and a touch of the supernatural. A local story tells of a fearsome dragon living in the forest and terrorizing the people of Burley by eating cattle and burning those who attempted to destroy it. The dragon's lair is located near a small hill, just a stone's throw from here, and is called Burley Beacon. The story tells of a hero called Sir Maurice Berkeley who fought the dragon and after an epic battle defeated it, but died soon after from his terrible wounds. The location of the fight is called Dragon Fields, and on the Berkeley family crest, you can still see a picture of the dragon. you'll shortly be arriving in Burley. Here you can visit Burley Fudge Shop, a local artisan producer of handmade fudge and confectionery. Have a taste of unusual flavors like Malteser fudge, as well as traditional English clotted cream fudge. You can change here onto the New Forest Tour Red Route and explore Ringwood and the wild northwest of the New Forest National Park. On the Red Route, you'll hear about some of the extraordinary people and creatures who have made the forest their home. To pick up some leaflets or find out more about the area, pop into Shapham's Stores, a local information point, which also stocks locally sourced New Forest Mark products. Is Bashley Holiday Park. But if you'd like to get off anywhere else, just ring the bell. Please stay seated and keep your arms safely inside the vehicle while we're moving. In groups through the winter, and after emerging, the males fight for females. Rearing up, they push their opponents to the ground and coil around each other until one gives up. The sandy heathlands of the New Forest are one of the few places in the UK that smooth snakes can still be found. To remember when we all enjoy the New Forest. These are summarised in the New Forest Code, a simple list of ways to help look after the forest, from keeping to the tracks to avoid disturbing rare birds that nest on the ground, to not feeding the ponies, and leaving the barbecue at home to reduce the risk of wildfires. Look out for the code in publications and on social media and websites. Is an important place in the story of gypsies in the New Forest. In the 1920s, gypsies and travellers were no longer allowed to camp out on the open forest, and Thorny Hill became one of 7 enforced campsites. The site was on the land to your left, and was the largest in the New Forest, with up to 400 people at a time. Prior to this, the forest had been home to gypsies for hundreds of years, camping where they wanted in small family groups. Local residents of the forest would look forward to the regular return of the gypsies, as they provided valuable services, such as sharpening tools, selling pegs and baskets, and carrying out odd jobs, such as repairing china and making beehives. The gypsy travellers also carried out seasonal work, such as digging potatoes and picking hops and strawberries. Campsite. Please ring the bell if you'd like to get off there. During the Second World War. It then played a role in the build-up to D-Day, when Spitfires, Mosquitoes and Typhoon aircraft flew missions from here to support the invasion of Europe, known as Operation Overlord. continued to be a royal hunting forest throughout the medieval period. By the end of the 17th century, however, priorities had changed. In 1698, William III passed the Enclosure Act, which allowed the enclosure of forest for the growing of timber. He needed the timber to build ships, and even a small ship would require 2,000 oak trees to build, as well as elm and beech for planking. often give clues to the historic way of life in the New Forest. For instance, Marlpit Lane in Bashley alludes to one of the rights in common held by certain properties. Marl is the right to dig clay to use for improving soil. To the east of Bashley flows the Dane Stream. It's thought this name derives from the Saxon word dune, meaning stream. In Victorian times, some were so convinced that there must have been a battle involving the Danes or Vikings here that old Ordnance Survey maps actually marked a site of a battle at Bashley. call at Holborn Bashley Holiday Park. Please make sure that you have all your belongings with you if you are leaving us here. Also available at our next stop is the Woodlander, which, as well as displaying locally produced coppice crafts, is a National Park local information point. calling at the railway station for trains to Bournemouth or Southampton. There are plenty of shops and cafes in New Milton, a good place to stop off and pick up lunch or a snack before we head on to the coast. Is named in the Domesday Book as Middleton, meaning Middle Farm. Villagers then shortened this to Milton. In 1895, the new railway opened. Local postmistress Emma Newhook opened a post office near the station and called it the New Milton Office to distinguish it from the existing one in the village. Eventually, the settlement around the station grew, and the two joined up. The red brick water tower was built in 1900. A local story tells of a new priest who arrived in the town and thought it was a Tudor castle. It was also a possible Luftwaffe target during the Second World War, and New Milton was the victim of several wartime bombing raids. The town's memorial centre remembers those who died in the raids and is open to visitors. Welcome to the New Forest Tour Blue Route, heading towards Barton on Sea and along the coast. shortly be arriving at Barton-on-Sea, where you can hop off for cliff-top cafes and picnics, coastal walks and sandy beaches. You could even try your luck fossil hunting. The coastline here is made of sandstone cliffs and sandy beaches. The geology of this area is famous worldwide, and nearby Barton-on-Sea has given its name to the Bartonian geological age, 38 million to 41 million years ago. The sandy Barton beds provide rich pickings for fossil hunters. If you are lucky, you might find beautiful fossil shells or even shark's teeth lying on the beach, polished by the waves. The teeth come from a prehistoric sand tiger shark. A local lady who lived here in Victorian times took a particular interest in the fossils of Barton. Barbara, Marchioness of Hastings, was described by a 19th century geologist as
One of the most excellent and without exception the cleverest woman I ever met.
When she moved to Everton with her husband in 1845, she put a gambling past behind her, and over the next 6 years amassed a huge and important fossil collection from the nearby cliffs and the Isle of Wight. She was a skilled preparer of fossils. The best of her collection is now in the Natural History Museum in London, and includes an extinct crocodile named after her. The coastline at Barton is constantly being eroded by the sea and the wind and rain. In the early 1900s, the grassy promenade at the top of the cliffs was 100 meters wide. Today, it is less than 20 meters in some places.